Ahoy, ho, gentle people, says Jens, as well as I do. Speaking of Jens, I have the lamb, the little lamb here. Okay, and Nimrod, hello. And we have, of course, who else but Deadfield? Yes. And I have the the Battlefield shirt. No more Nimrod. Okay. And there was Bowie, who was the first one again, apparently. And then we have Stefan, who has pimped my ride. Okay. Let's see. Let's press. What buttons shall I press? Let's press that one and that one. Okay. How are we doing, dear people? Are you okay? I have not been feeling well. I've been feeling like shit. Honestly, I've been feeling like I've been I haven't been well. I had an accident at work. This yeah, Boo, we like the Spirited Away sticker. Yes, so do I. So I had an accident at work Tuesday afternoon, and I've been feeling like just rubbish after that. Um, I fell, and it's possible that I hit my head, and I got finally I got the CT scan done today, and I have a massive hematoma right here. So I have no idea where I hit that one, but there was some water on the floor, and that was the end of the the end of the bed, the head end of the bed frame, and then what do you call it? A cupboard, or one of those a cupboard and one of those things you put under that stuff under it. There are doors, and there are shelves on top of it. Yes, and yeah, it was like maybe a meter, maybe a meter, between those two. So and I felt on my side, and I had this somewhat large but very soft rubbish bin that I crushed with my weight. Um, we there should be a really a wet floor sign, uh, because it was impromptu. It wasn't supposed. It was wet, but it wasn't planned to be wet because um, for those who do not know what I do for a living, outside of, I don't do YouTube for a living. Uh, um, for those who I don't do YouTube for a living, obviously I do have a Patreon, but that's not enough to make a living. I'm a nurse. I work with disabled people, people with intellectual and physical disabilities, and I have just taken one of our clients to shower, taken them to bed, clothes on, blankets on, lights on up, and then I was taking the lift, the lifting design. I was taking away the lifting device and the the lifting. I don't know what to call it in English, but the thing that you use to lift a patient who can't move themselves. You move from a wheelchair to a bed or vice versa. So the lifting thing was was dripping water on the floor. That's why it was wet. I hadn't had any time to it was my job to wipe it up, but I didn't. It's called a lift. Yeah, I used a lift, and it dro- because it was wet, so it dropped some water on the floor, and there we go. And I just didn't see the water on the floor. Not a stretcher. Not a stretcher. It's a lift. It's a lift. I'd rather. Oh, oi, oi, oops, oi, ooh, no, 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 no. I just wanna. Um, I'm talking one of these. Yeah, I'm talking one of these. Yeah, I'm talking one of these things. Yeah, that's anyway. I've been feeling like shit. Uh, Booey, I had my an X-ray taken of my left where the hematoma is. You know my uh yeah. Nimrod says if Finland is like Sweden, it is. Yes, it is. It's very much like Sweden. Um, Nimrod, the all the papers, all my papers say hematoma. So, and I use okay, just a bruise. Okay, then all right, a bruise. Anyway, those things are inspected yearly, but it's not the fault of the lift. It's the it's the fact that the water had been dripping on the floor when I took the patient from the shower to the bed, and then it's the water came from the shower to the lift to the floor. Hematoma, yes, it's the fancy word. Yeah, I know. Okay, because that's what I do. I anyway. Conspiracies. Let's talk conspiracies. There is no conspiracies to be made that we can't. There's no way we can make a conspiracy out of this one, even though it would be it would probably be quite tempting. It would be quite tempting to make such uh, a conspiracy of such event. Um, let's have a look. I have the chat here. There. Uh, Um, Nimrod says, if the Earth was flat and gravity was fake, that would never have happened to you. Yeah, yes, exactly. Conspiracies make a nice scapegoat for for all the things we can. Yeah. Okay, we have there are all sorts of uh, conspiracies, and I had a look at 10 top 10 conspiracies Americans believe, but that had moon landings, chemtrails, JFK, like communist. This McCarthyist, commie scare, uh, and Holocaust, but that might not always be applicable to the rest of the world. Mm. But I resorted to when looking up some when I looked up some for some conspiracies. I turned to the good old Wikipedia, and they have actually very nicely categorized these into different categories. Aviation, ooh, uh, and then we got business and industry, deaths and disappearances, economics, society, espionage, and such. The one that I have never actually really looked at a lot is black helicopters, which is an interest. And then we got the good old chemtrails. Then there's an interesting the Korean Airlines flight 007. Um, it was shot down by Soviet jets in 1983. So, and it's a conspiracy. Um, what? Emerald says food is a conspiracy as well as poo and pee and alcohol and water. Yeah. Um, some conservative nutcases would make nonsense conspiracies that come out of their ass as brains as they shit their conspiracies. Uh, Nimrod says, "Oh, Harry Jeebus, you want to hear my aunt? She has turned into full conspirator for fuck's sake." Jeez, Jeebus Jeebus Chance says that's what? Yeah, rational wiki. Hmm. Okay, I'll have a look. And then Malaysia Air MH17 and Malaysia Airlines flights MH17 and 370. Yeah, new Coke stuff. What? What? I mean, I've heard this new Coke uh thing. What is the point? I mean, I've never really even looked into that because Um, then obviously we have these deaths of prominent figures. Martin Luther King, Pope John Paul I, Olof Palme, the former Swedish Prime Minister, John Lennon, and the conspiracy that Paul McCartney is dead. Um, and then there's Elvis Presley, Adolf Hitler, and so forth. That you know, obviously, obviously, some said Adolf Hitler fled to the Americas, to Antarctica, and the moon. So, terminally ill drug addicts. But why do people believe in these things? Um, it requires a certain uh, conspiratorial mindset to begin with to be able to believe these things. Peter Nuttall, what, why? Um, for whatever reason. Nimrod says Hitler has gone hiding in Uranus. Oh, with Elvis, yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's often it requires an intense amount of paranoia um, and ignorance of scientific consensus. And however, and misunderstanding on, for example, the chemtrail thing, COVID-19 vaccines in general. Pardon me. Uh, but it might not always be pathological, but it requires um, a certain mindset that you are either, or the inclination towards a certain type of um, thinking that you're born with, uh, but or then acquire through for whatever reason, um, through substance abuse, get yourself a good spanking on the brain, and there we have it. Yes. Okay. So it requires a certain type of personality, really. Um, okay. Uh, Uh, Nimrod says Paul was replaced by lookalike Pizza, then asks why. Uh, for whatever reason. Um, for whatever reason. Money, fame, uh, just for shits and giggles. Uh, Paul was murdered, and they wanted to continue making some money. He didn't want to do it anymore, so they killed him, and then replaced him with a looky likey. You know, who knows? Yeah. Bowie says, like I said, they shit the conspiracy out of their ass brains, quote unquote, special knowledge the sheeple don't have. Exactly, says Jens. And oh, pardon me. Um, and Nimrod says, "I am the only one who knows the truth." Yes, Nimrod knows the truth. Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm in bit of a brain fog today. I'm just trying to uh, make some sense. Make some sense here. Okay, I think it's a nice. Um, oh yes, and then Bowie says a lot of the new bills that have been introduced are just diarrhea from the toilet uh, as politicians shit out transfer big bills as they push it out of their asses. Yes. Anyway, I've gained a few. Ian says, I'm the one who's been awake for 33 hours straight. Go to bed, good man. Go to bed. I'm gonna slap you silly. No, okay, I do not advocate for violence, but go, please, go get some sleep. You'll just get yourself sick. Anyway, I think one thing that I might as well just talk about. Uh, Peter says brain fog. It must mean a conspiracy. Exactly. Chemtrails. I don't know. The when Russians react to LGBT plus has been mm, bit of success. Well, yeah, reasonably successful. Uh, and then perhaps I might as well just make another video about the fraud case of George Santos, the GOP representative who has lied about pretty much everything in his life. Uh, yeah, pretty much everything. Because I feel like I didn't cover a lot in the first one. Well, I did cover a lot, but I feel I feel like it wasn't enough. So okay, 48-hour cycle for Jens. Well, some things work for others more than more than for some other people. Okay. Look, I think I'm gonna just call it a day for this random Friday. It's been. I think I've said enough for today, and I'm sorry. I just wanna go and rest. I'm way too tired to do anything more for to more for today. So okay, that's Stefan. That's your new watering can, and then the sheep is always there, hanging on my microphone stand. And please check my links in the description box, as well as my Patreon, PayPal, and thanks to Flems for being a patron. And I will see you next week.